So you're better off drinking grape juice, pomegranate juice, beet juice, and in some cases green tea. But you don't want to combine your green tea with beet juice because they counteract. So if you're going to do that trick, you should have your beet juice at the beginning of the race, and then when it wears off a couple of hours after your last sip. This is for a long race, by the way. For a short race, you don't mix them at all. But after a couple hours after your first, I guess it's a couple of hours after your first sip, your last sip of beet juice, after you finish that beet juice off, then you can start down in the green tea. Now the problem with caffeine is that I think someone said it has a half-life of 4 hours. So 8 hours later, you still have quite a bit of caffeine in your system. So you can't reverse the order. You can't do caffeine first and then beet juice. That's just not going to work so well. So you should flip it around. And I'm not saying I'm a doctor or anything, or this is right, but that's just my understanding of the situation. That if you're going to mix the two, consume the beet juice first, wait an hour or two till after you finished it, then start the caffeine. Now I used to take caffeine by way of Cliff Energy juice, energy bars, just bicycle food basically. But I found out that stuff's bad for you, according to Dr. Josh Walden. And well, actually not just him. He told me that deal about Gatorade. I didn't agree with him. But and somebody else tried to tell me about it years before he did, that stuff, that food was bad for you. Anyways, and then Dr. Eric Berg was like, no, don't eat this. And so I found out, yeah, I don't need this processed food. Basically, it's processed food that's killing us all. So I don't do that anymore. Except on very, very rare occasions, like on high-profile races, I might still bring some Cliff Energy chews with me, caffeinated, and get my caffeine from that. But a lot of times anymore, I'll just get my caffeine straight from green tea. And there's less, unless you're drinking like matcha, which I do drink on occasions when there's like for high-profile activities, like I'm singing and I need to stay awake for the musical performance. I need to be alert to be able to do what the director wants me to. I might do matcha then, but green tea generally has much lower concentrations of caffeine than coffee does. But matcha has significantly higher concentrations of caffeine than regular green tea, and matcha is a type of green tea. So anyways, so yeah, probably green tea would be fine for mini races. I think that's what I did when I did True Grit a couple of years ago. I had my bike, my race bike that was sold to me when I was married, still married, when Jennifer and I were still together. I still believe we're married. But when we were still together, I had my race bike that was sold to me back then by a friend of mine. I hope he doesn't mind me mentioning his name, Scott Lambert. He sold me his son's bicycle at a very reasonable price. I really didn't want it. I wanted to get a new Cannondale from Ben Upchurch back when he used to own the bike route. That's what I wanted to get. But Scott was kind of like, you should get this bike. So I did. So I paid about the same price. And first I didn't like it because for whatever reason I had trouble understanding the shifting. I guess there was something with me in that group set that just didn't jive right. But as I got to ride this bike and get to know it, I found out that bike is a Colnago, by the way. It's a black Colnago, and it looks beautiful when I'm in the right kit. If I'm in the right kit, if I'm like in my blue jersey and my regular spandex, and I have the appropriate color water bottles, and I'm on that call nago, and I don't have any stupid stickers that race stickers or parking permit stickers that contrast with the call nago look. It looks downright. Bike's got something to it. So anyways, over time I learned to realize that that call nago, which he outfitted with race wheels, I mean, they weren't like high-end, they weren't the highest end race wheels, but they were race wheels in an Old Checker group set, and sold to me for a price of a stock Cannondale. I got a steal from him. I mean, I wasn't stealing because he was okay with it, you know, but it was just great. And so I kept riding on that bike. The more I rode it, the more I loved it. It was like a relationship. It was like some Italian thing, you know, where bike is family, you know. And so I'm like, I'm gonna do an Ironman now because I'm tired of racing USAC amateur cycling. I got out of it for a while. COVID hit, kind of got away from it, and so some guy, I was training for a Dirty Kansas gravel ride, 200-mile gravel ride. It was called Dirty Kansas back then. I finished. Don't do it. Anyway, yeah, I don't know what's going with that, but yeah. So I outfitted his bike with the, I took off, because I wasn't racing anymore, I took off the drop bars, and I bought this carbon aero pit off at eBay, because I couldn't afford to get a tri-bike for, Ironman, because I was in the process of it. I wound up I didn't get to do as much bicycle training for Ironman as I wanted because I had to spend so much time on my swim because my swim was so bad. It was horrible. I was a former lifeguard, and but when I got back into swimming, I could barely swim to the end of a 25-yard pool without getting out of breath. It was that bad. So you can imagine a crawl, that is, freestyle. You can imagine what it was like when I went out trying to do open water swimming like that. I wound up doing side stroke, breaststroke, all kinds of things just to keep going because I was so bad at crawl. I mean, and you're supposed to be good at crawl to be a lifeguard because you have to, and I passed, you have to do a 500-yard freestyle crawl swim to pass the American Red Cross lifeguard test. But I was just horrible back then. I mean, when I got back into to swimming. So I was doing all these other strokes, but they kept telling me on GTN, Global Triathlon Network, if you want the fastest speed, you got to do crawl. I'm gonna have to change this battery here soon, probably. It's getting close. Battery life is really only about an hour and 30 minutes. Even at 25 frames per second. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to take a break. Anyway, I don't know what else. Yeah, so Global Triathlon Network was telling me you need to learn crawl because it's the most efficient stroke. And I was like, you're crazy. I can breaststroke faster than I can crawl. And, so, yeah, and I was thinking, I can also side stroke faster. I was thinking about doing like a sort of a variation of what's kind of like the combat side stroke, but I didn't know what the combat side stroke was back then. Combat side stroke is a stroke that the Navy SEALs use. But I was kind of doing a variation of that for a little bit because it's like a crawl with a side stroke kick. But it wasn't, the way I wasn't doing it wasn't CSS. Later on, like about half a year ago, I started learning the CSS, but that was well after the Ironman. And by the way, until I caught this stupid cold, I was very, very, very close to passing the minimum standards for the Navy SEAL PST. But I'm 51 years old, I have sleep apnea, and I'm so freaking scatterbrained. Yeah, I was passing the 500-yard CSS swim, but then when I went to do the pull-ups after the CSS swim, of course I'd do more than just the CSS. I'd be like swimming like 2,500 yards, which is way more what you need to do for the PST. I was only getting like 7 or 8 pull-ups, and on a good day, on a fresh arms, without having to do a bunch of swimming, like 2,500 yards of swimming first, I could get like 15 pull-ups. So I was kicking my butt. So I wasn't quite ready up to the point where I could do the 10 pull-ups after the 500-yard swim, although I never tried just doing a 500-yard swim followed by the pull-ups only. But whatever. And then there's push-ups, and then there's the run, and even though I'm much older now and I do not run 6-minute miles anymore, for that little test, it's only like 1.5 miles that you have to do it. And I think for that test, you only have to run 6.5-minute miles for 1.5 miles. And the U.S. Army PT test used to be 2 miles long. I used to regularly bust that sucker out in 12 minutes without even really breaking a sweat almost. I mean, I was fast in my prime. So, yeah, I probably could have passed the PST if I hadn't caught in this cold, but whatever. So, anyway, yeah, my hair probably looks like a disaster now. You can see my hair. You see my hair? Looks stupid. Yeah, those aero bars, putting those aero bars on that normal race bike turned out to be a really great deal. I can't race USAC with those things on, but all in all, I just get more enjoyable rides on it. And as long as I don't sit in aero bars when I'm doing group rides, there's not going to be an issue. You do not want to be in aero position on a group ride. It's way too dangerous. And by the way, that brings me to the point of criteriums. Oh, look at that beautiful tree. Look at this beautiful tree here. I hope it doesn't look too bad. I don't want to stop because I don't know what that'll do to my legs. I'm going to have to stop here in a little bit because I'm going to have to change the battery out. I'm running 955. That's not good. Need to speed it up because I'm gonna have to take breaks. I may want a potty break. I think I'm gonna have to change the batteries. So I hope nobody gets too terribly offended by anything I say. Starting to get scatterbrained now. 6 miles, 6.75 miles. Another reason why I want to get done but this quickly is because I do not want to spend a long time tomorrow editing this nonsense. I'm not going to be able to edit it today because I've got child support and related things that I needed to take care of this afternoon, this evening when I get back. And I go to church tomorrow morning at Trinity Espanol, even though I'm not that great at Spanish. But I will never learn if I give up. So I'm going to keep at it. Who knows, I may become a missionary. With my spouse, I could be another, what's that guy's name? I don't know, his father something. He was this boxing priest dude that was very unorthodox. He was very strong. And he fell in love with some Catholic girl that was, I think she was Catholic. Yeah, Catholic, because she was very attractive, very soft-spoken, very kind. She had a way of taming that man. And he, because he was a very talented boxer, but he kind of gave up boxing because he liked her, and she thought he was pretty cool too because he was strong and big, but she didn't like his mannerisms. Father Stu, yeah. So anyway, she tamed him, and he went and devoted his life to the Lord, this foul-mouthed priest. But he was able to reach people that a normal 7 miles, 10:14, 14 minutes behind pace. That's very bad because I'm on a flat road. I'm on a flat path. and I'm going 14 minutes behind pace. This is not a good thing. We're 7 miles now. Performance is going to start dropping. I need to get this stuff done. I'm only probably going to do like 31 miles. But I need to get back. Of course, when it starts getting around towards 6 o'clock, I'll get a boost of energy, but then everything will get dark and you won't be able to see. So, I'd really like to avoid that. Not to mention the fact that's less time for me to eat.